Hi, this video is for Project 1, Calculating Your Grade for my Math 154 students. I retyped this project direction and rubric for my Spring 2023 students, but this should be very similar to my Nova Online Math 154 students. So in this video, I'm going to just talk about Part 1. So if you and I have done Part 1 in class, you can skip this video and I'll come back and record the other parts later. But here we go. If you have not started on Project Gradebook, open up a blank Excel. Okay, you can use Google Sheet or Numbers app, but in this video I'll be using Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so in this project you will create a spreadsheet which keeps track of your grade in this Math 154 class. In addition to simply recording all your grades for the course, it will provide you with a running tally of how you are doing in the course at any point in time during the semester. So what we are creating is more than just all of your grades typed in. It's going to calculate the grade just like Canvas is doing. So one of the things that I'll be looking for later is the grade that you calculated on your spreadsheet the same as the grade shown on Canvas. Okay, so that's actually going to be for next video, but let's start with part 1. What does running tally mean? To help you understand this, compute the grade of a student with an 85 MyLab homework average, so a BA average, right? 100 activities average, that's good. 90 quiz average, and 95 on project 1 and 90 on test 1. Label the cell sample student average. So basically I'm creating something like this on Excel. Okay, so I'll try to have both screens side by side so that I don't have to go back and forth. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna make this look like this and I'll start typing. Okay, look, I will have assignment groups in one of the cell, and I decided to just skip one to the left, skip one above, so that mine doesn't start in A1. I decided to start in B2, but it can look all different. Okay, so I'm gonna have my assignment group listed here. I'll enter the grades here, and I'll enter the weight here. So all right, so what's the first assignment group? Well, we all have MyLab Homework, and we have activities, we have quizzes, projects, and tests. Okay, and I'll bold these. The weights for these groups are 15% for the MyLab, 15% for activity, 10 for quizzes, 15 for projects, and 45 for tests. Now, do me a favor, if you are, well, it may be a different group weight, so I do want you to use your weights listed on Canvas, okay? And you can find them on syllabus page. If you go to syllabus, those weights that you should be using for your projects should be listed on the left side. So I think this is the same, 15, 15, 10, 15, and 45. And critical assignment due date, these are just reminders for when to drop, if you decide to drop, so you don't have to list these, okay? But I think I do want to have total in the bottom. But instead of labeling this as total, let me go ahead and just call this sample student average down here, okay? Sample student average. All right, we're ready to start. Now, what did they say? Okay, so they said this student has 85 MyLab homework average. Activities, this was the student's strength, 100 for activities, 90 on quiz average, and projects were what? 95. That was good. 95. And lastly, test grades were 90. So I got everything I need from Excel, from this little direction sheet. So now this looks kind of bad right now. So let me try to make this into a table. Okay. Before I do that, before I do that, I want to add an extra column here, okay? I will say this is points, okay? I will say these are points, okay? And I'm going to calculate the points that the students have earned from MyLab Homework category in this box right there, okay? Now, I think these are the cells that I'll be using. I'm going to select them all, click on all borders, and I like to add a thick border box around, but this looks like a nice table, okay? So I will let you just play around with shading your cells and using borders to make it look like a table. But all right, I'm ready to start. I'm ready to start this now, okay? So type in an equal sign. Let me try to zoom in as much as I can, okay? Type in an equal sign and click on the grade 85. Type in a multiplication symbol. I'm using Shift 8 on my keyboard and click on that weight 15%. See what I did, right? Blue times red and hit enter. You should see 12.75. Now click on that fill handle and drag it all the way down so that the same formula can be copied down to test. Ta-da, let go. And these are the points that these students have earned from each of these grading categories. If you double click on this number 9, you should see 90 times 10% multiplying. If you double click on this test, you should see 90 times 45% multiplying, okay? Now, you're going to add up all these points to find the student's average. Equal sign and do SUM because we're about to add all those numbers up. Click on that sum function. Oh, whoopsies. So that it says equal sign sum, a parenthesis, and you're going to click on all those numbers above. And if you hit enter, you're about to see the sample student average. Ta-da! All right, this student has 91.5. I round this up to 92. Well, when I enter grades in SIS, I round them up to the nearest whole number. So I think I'm just going to round it to a whole number. Okay, so this student's grade, this student's sample average is 92%. Okay, 92. Like this. So, student has an A right now. Okay, the student has an A. So we did what part 1 asked us to do. We found that the student's running tally, the grade right now is 92%. Okay. What am I doing? Give me 1 second. So you guys format it however you like, really. You format it however you like. As long as I can look at a number and I can tell what that number is talking about, you should be okay. So I think I like to have it like this way. All right, and then I'll color this. Okay, so all good. Moving on. Okay, moving on to the next part. So we did number 1. Hold on. All right, it says recompute their grade, assuming they get a 80 on test 2. Now, if the student gets 80 on test 2, now we have something to worry about, right? Student has an A average, but 80 is a B. So will 180 on test bring the grade down to a B range, or will the student be able to keep the grade in an A range? Okay, so we're going to do this calculation one more time, but use we're going to enter the test grade of 2 somehow in this test average. Okay, so I'll go over here. I guess I can use my green table again, but I'm just gonna try to copy everything. So look, I'm selecting all these numbers and tables. I'm doing copy, and I'll just dump another one down here. Okay, but I'll be doing a different calculation in this table. Okay, so you give me 1 second. This is where I'm going to do that recalculation. Okay, so I have 2 tables. All right, now in this second scenario, everything remains the same, but we're going to have to change that test average, right? Now look, look at something very interesting. When I deleted this number, when we had 90, student sample average was 92%. But when I deleted this 90, guess what? The student is earning 0 point from the test category. So look, when you leave a cell blank, Excel will treat it as 0. So if the student doesn't take any test, doesn't matter how great the student is doing in all other categories, if the student doesn't take any test, the student is now failing, right? But now, we are going to enter a different test grade. Now look, student had a test average of 90, but now another 80 is coming in. So I'm going to take the average of 90 and 80. Does that make sense? See, I can't just enter 80 here because then I'm not really using the average or the grade from test 1. This student had, all right, see, this student had 90 on test 1, and this student had 80 on test 2. So what I need to do is take the average of those two. So that's why I said I'm going to do an equal sign, average of, I'll be very careful not clicking on some random stuff on this Excel. I better do some Control Z to go back. All right, that's why I have to do average, and I'm going to click on this function name of 90, 80 on this cell. Now, if you add 90 and 80 and divide it by 2, what number should you get? What's in the middle of 90 and 80? It better show up as 85. Let me click enter, and ta-da, it says 85. So, what happened to this student's grade? With that second test being 80%, students' points dropped down to 38.25 from this category from 40.5, and what used to be 92 is now down to 89. Now, if I round your grade to 89, that's a B, right? So I'm not going to be submitting an A in SIS unless you and I talk about some other makeup work, right? So if this happens on May something, like last day of the semester, please reach out to me because I'm not going to automatically round up your 89 or 88. I may have to make you do some makeup work in the end. But, well, we did the calculation for this student for this project. So let's see, 92 dropped down to 89. The last part that you're going to answer for this spreadsheet is inserting a text box into the spreadsheet and record both grades in the text box. Are you surprised by their grade? Explain what weights dominate at this point in the semester. So, there's no correct or incorrect answer. As long as you answer this question for me in your own words, that will be good. But I'll show you how to add a text box. You can merge some cells, but look, you can go to insert. You can click on somewhere here. All right, look, text box right here. Click on it, and then just make it big enough. And you will type in your response here. Reflection. And the questions were this. So we inserted a text box into the spreadsheet. And all right, you're going to record both. You're going to record both grades in this text box. Okay? So you must do that. Record both. Oh, whoopsie, I don't want to highlight the whole thing. Talk about what those grades are. Okay? That's the first thing I want to see. And then answer this question. Are you surprised by their grades? And then explain what weight dominates at this point in the semester. It doesn't have to be long because I will ask you to type up 2-paragraph reflection on a different place. Okay, so in this box, just give me about like 3-4 sentences. That will be great. But make sure to give me both grades, which we found right here. Now, if your project description talks about give you different numbers, and you should report those numbers. But if you decide to just go with my video, if you're my student, and if I see 92 and 89, That will be all right, okay? So your reflection will go right there, okay? And if I zoom out, that sheet should look something like this. You can have things in different places. You can stick in your reflection in the bottom if you want to. It's all up to you, okay? But do me a favor and rename this sheet for me. So look at where I'm clicking down here. It said sheet 1, right? Right click, rename this as running tally. Okay, all right, and that is it for part 1. Okay, now when I come back in another video, I will start a second sheet, a new tab, and start talking about designing a gradebook, which is going to be the big portion of this project in next video. Okay.